if you're from Kevin, we're recording, right? If you're from Kevin, Montana, hit us up, email us, viva@scarecrow.com. Just let us know what it's like over there.
Or as I say, Kevin, Montana. If my parents had planned my birth better and driven 3 or 4 hours from Helena, I could have been born in the town that has my name. But there's only like 140 people there.
How many of them do you think are named Kevin?
All of them, I would assume.
One has to assume. Hey, welcome.
Welcome to Viva Physical Media. I'm Kevin Clark.
That's Kevin.
Not Kevin. Kevin Clark.
And I'm Emalie Soderback.
We were talking about caricatures a little, so that was fun.
Yeah.
I have a whole set, and you only have ever gotten one. I highly recommend getting caricatures. If anybody out there is a caricature artist and wants to draw us,
that'd be tight.
by all means, please send us some. We want people to email us, viva@scarecrow.com. Email us your questions and let us know how great we are and if our pics are good, but also send us fan art. Yeah.
Send us stickers.
Send us stickers.
We've got some more stickers on the bucket shelf.
We've got some stickers on the bucket shelf here.
And more to put up.
Our coworker Ben brought in some. I brought in a couple here. This is local artist Marie Boisseau.
I don't know how to say her last name.
Well, if you're watching, Marie, I'm sorry I pronounced your name wrong. She did these awesome Granny Predator stickers.
Very cool.
Yeah, if you live in Seattle, I believe they're available at Push Pull in Ballard.
Yeah, email us. Viva@scarecrow.com. We've gotten some cool emails. We like hearing from you.
And send us questions, queries, requests, dares, maybe dares. I don't know. We'll see how we're feeling. You know.
Yeah.
Truths, but about movies. Keep it about movies.
So it's snowing outside right now,
Yep.
or raining, I guess. So that's happening. So by the time you see this, maybe we had like a crazy snowstorm. Maybe nothing happened.
Yeah.
Either way, it's good movie watching weather for sure.
Absolutely.
In some movie news, it's taken me like so long to move out of my old house because I just keep leaving stuff there because I know the people that still live there. But I finally got my VCR.
Oh,
So
nice.
Now everything is at the tip of my finger.
Oof. Let's get into some of our emails.
I think that's a good idea.
Should we talk about? We have a few from Troy Barber actually. Troy was loved. Why Don't You Just Die?
That was a great one. I watched it after Kevin recommended it as well.
Yeah, and I recommend everybody check it out. But he compared a lot of the color to he compared some of it to Wong Kar-wai, and then also
cool.
like Wong Kar-wai plus Martin McDonagh, which I think is a good mix. I don't know that
What's the second Martin?
He did like In Bruges.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can see that. I like the Wong Kar-wai comparison.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's
Yeah,
really cool.
I hadn't thought about that really, but it's true.
You know what else Troy liked?
You liked one of your picks.
He liked Deep End. He says, I see the director and star made something called King, Queen, Knave a few years later, which I didn't know about, so maybe I'll have to check that out. It looks like we only have it on VHS, which isn't a problem because I have my VCR back. I love hearing people watch the movies that we recommend.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Troy also mentioned, he gave you some recommendations for
Stamp.
Terrence Stamp movies for Stamphead. We may have to do a whole episode about Terrence Stamp.
But I don't know, he creeps me out. Yeah,
You've seen Priscilla,
I've
Queen
seen
of the
Priscilla.
Desert?
It's been a really long time. I think I saw it in college.
Yeah.
Not that was a long time ago, but like it's been a bit. And then he mentioned
Teorama, which was funny because I did mention it on the last episode, but it was I cut it. It was one of the part. I cut out a lot of stuff because he was go on longer.
We just ramble, really. Terrence Stamp, his whole demeanor creeps me out just from watching The Collector. And then, like he said, the Teorama thing, that sounds creepy too.
It's really good. And Troy
guys.
also recommended a movie called Dog Man to us for our dog segment, which I don't know if it's totally about dogs, and I haven't seen it.
It looked like it, even if it wasn't about dogs, it had some definite good boys in the cast.
All right. Well, so we should probably watch it anyway.
I mean, I will watch it anyways, even if it's not going to be one of our dog movies.
Maybe it won't qualify for dog movie. Maybe it'll be something we like.
Dog adjacent.
That's cool.
Yeah, if you have any dog movie recommendations, you guys, also feel free to email us.
We have an email from someone, from Joshua, who just says, hey, Kevin and Emalie, I wanted to let you guys know how much I've been enjoying your Viva Physical Media videos. Jeez. I discovered Scarecrow Video last year, early in quarantine, and was so excited when I realized you guys are in Seattle,
crazy.
only an hour from me. So, I mean, but I'm glad you found us.
What a great time to discover us, though.
It says, where have I been? Since then, I've been doing your Rent by Mail program and I've also come visit the store, which was amazing. So thanks for making these awesome videos where I can discover new movies and listen to cinephiles talk, something I could do all day. Me too. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
And
thanks for not only doing our rent by mail, which just reminding everyone they could do if you don't live super close,
Totes.
but by making the journey and coming and checking us out IRL during this weird time.
Like, one of the things about the store that we always talk about on here and everywhere where you see any of us talking about it, is how cool the space is. It's a unique space, to say the least, which can be a nightmare, and also it's a joy.
It's so fitting, though, I feel like, for us.
The first time I came here in 2000, I just moved here, and we were living with some guys, and this guy's just like, "Oh, you guys like movies?" And my buddy and I are like, "Yeah, we like movies." And he's like, "You should go to this place, Scarecrow. They've got like the Miyazaki movies. You can get them there." But this was before they were available in English at all, except for like the VHS of My Neighbor Totoro. And they were like, "But here," they're like, "you go there and you get them, and they give them, they'll give you like Princess Mononoke, but they give you the script too," which was true. We rented out
cool.
we rented out the movie, the like tapes. Or I think it was tapes then. Yeah, it was the tapes, but with like an English script. So you go home and like you have to read
subtitles.
You have to read along with the movie. Yeah, like we've been to video stores. I'd worked at a Blockbuster or whatever, and then so we come here just because this guy says, "Oh, you should check out this place." It's very casually, and we come in here, and then it's this place. What? I was kind of almost mad at the dude
for not like hyping it up more.
Yeah, because I was like, why didn't he say
that it was crazy?
Why didn't he say it was crazy huge? Fucking idiot. And we didn't rent a Miyazaki movie. We rented Space Cowboys by Stuart Gordon. Not Stuart Gordon's best movie, but it was fun.
Man, I wish I remembered the first movie I rented here. I guess I could look up the first movie I rented here. What am I talking about?
If it's after 2007, it's still archived.
Cool. I'm going to look up the first movie I rented and let you guys all know.
Mine was Freaked.
Freaked.
Alex Winter.
Ooh, that movie is awesome.
Well, I don't know.
Freaked. Everybody, have you seen Freaked?
I don't know.
By Alex Winter. It's like, Bill.
Yeah.
From Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
But Mr. T's in it and Randy Quaid. It's about this hotshot movie star played by Alex Winter, and he ends up in this South American country. Whatever, he ends up this place in this crazy freak show run by Randy Quaid, where he turns people into freaks with this stuff, and it's like a live action cartoon, and it's got a great cameo by Keanu Reeves as Dog Boy. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's us reading our emails. Thanks. We didn't get any questions this time.
Yeah. So keep them coming. Ask us some stuff, whatever you want.
And don't forget about the fan art.
Yeah. Don't forget about that. Welcome back to Viva Physical Media.
Yeah, welcome back.
You guys probably didn't go anywhere.
No, and neither did we, really. My first pick is kind of a straight-to-video slasher from back in the day, a horror movie called Disconnected. Directed by Gorman Bechard, who I think is probably his most well-known movie is probably Psychos in Love,
which is great.
But this was his first movie, and he did like B horror sci-fi stuff for a while through the 80s and 90s, and then kind of transitioned into doing documentaries, and that's kind of where he's been. But he did this and Psychos in Love. Let's see when I've seen Breeders. Actually, I think it's pretty good.
I think I have seen Breeders.
It's pretty sleazy, but Disconnected. His first movie is a pretty fun little slasher. It's like a weird movie because it's a slasher, but it does involve like a serial killer like murdering these women in this town. And it's great. It's a great regional slasher, but I don't remember where it's filmed. I think it's like Pennsylvania maybe or something. This is someone's hometown, and this is someone's grandpa playing the old man in this movie.
And this was like the most excitement this town's got. Yeah.
Waterbury, Connecticut.
Connecticut.
I remember that because I've been there.
Yeah, but it sort of treads into, for lack of a better term, Lynchian territory a little bit, especially towards the end. It just gets a bit weird. Lynch would be a better example is Repulsion. Is something really happening, or is she going mad?
Shit. But love a woman paranoia film for sure.
Then you should watch this. But on like a $0 budget.
Yeah.
In from like 1986 or whatever. This young woman works at a video store.
Cool.
Like us. She goes home one day and some old man's like, "Hey, can I use your phone?" And she's like, "Yeah, okay." So
First mistake.
Well, yeah. So he comes in to use the phone, and then when she comes back out, the old man's like disappeared with the phones off and it's like, "Oh, what happened to the old man?" I'm not gonna tell you what happened to the old man because you're gonna have to watch the movie yourself.
I'm stoked. I'm gonna take this home. I'm stoked on this already.
And I mean, and then you can tell me what happened to the old man. She works at a video store. This kind of dorky guy comes in and starts like flirting with her, and he seems kind of nice or whatever, So she's like, "I'll start dating this guy." Then it turns out like she calls him one time, and he's like, "Oh yeah, no,
I don't have anything planned tonight. Nothing special."
Oh, tonight? No, tonight's not any good. Oh, my room's a real mess. I gotta clean it up. You know how guys are. Always making messes.
Oh no, he's the Waterbury killer or whatever. The Waterbury waster. I don't know what they call the guy. I don't want to give too much away because it actually is pretty fun. And it's a very good it was a big box video back in the day, but now it's out on this great Vinegar Syndrome.
No, I like the cover of that.
Yeah, this great Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray DVD set, and of course got a reversal. And I think this was the actual. I remember when we had the big box of this before this came out, and this was the big box.
Yeah, that looks familiar.
Cover
to me.
was this big purple one with the ladies. But pretty much the movie. One of the reasons that I really wanted to talk about this one is not only because of the movie, but because of one of the extra features is a short film on here called 20 Questions.
Make yourself comfortable. On the table in front of you, you'll notice there are 20 index cards. On the back of each card is a question. You will have to remain in this room for approximately 11 minutes, during which time we ask you to answer as many of the questions as possible.
That's like a short documentary by the director from back around the same time this movie came out in the 80s. The documentary is basically they set up a camera in this room, and on this table they have these pieces of paper face down that have questions on them, and they just filmed different people coming in and flipping over the questions.
What can I say?
It can be a great source of amusement. Hope this is the right word. Phlegm. As in,
the questions involve sex, the questions involve religion, race, food. Some of them are innocuous, but some of them aren't. And it's very telling, which people say what.
Why am I being so honest? Anal sex. Well, you know what they say, condoms make safe sex. You can't, no girl ever let me do that. I never wanted to do it. It just hasn't happened yet. Anal sex. That's very,
Most embarrassing moment. My most embarrassing moment. Oh, it was when I was at a wedding. I'll never forget this. I don't know if I'll ever be in a wedding again.
The interview with the director on here, and he talks about how when he was pulling out the disconnected, for them to like get the elements for this to make the Blu-ray, he found that short film and was like, "Oh, I forgot about this. Here's this short film." And so the first time it had been seen since the 80s was when they screened it at a festival, and then now it's on this Blu-ray. But it's really cool. It's a very awesome little time capsule of how people thought in the 80s. So I think that's the other reason to definitely check out this disc.
That's awesome.
So Disconnected from Vinegar Syndrome. Welcome back.
Welcome back again. Here we are still.
Sorry, we got disconnected for a second there.
Oh, but now we're ready to take a joyride. Joyride, not to be confused with another one of my beloved favorites, Paul Walker's Joyride, with Steve Zahn and Lily Sobieski.
I do enjoy that movie.
That movie's really fun. That's a good one. There's also another movie called Joyride from the 90s that I looked up, and apparently I watched it and gave it like half a star.
So not good.
So not good. But this one is really great. This movie is starring Desi Arnaz Jr., so Lucille Ball and Desi's kid. Super handsome in this too.
Is he? Can I? Before you get to, is he on the Lucy show? Is he the? Do they have a baby? Because they have a baby on the show.
Yeah, but it's not their baby.
It's not their baby. Okay.
Yeah. 1977, directed by Joseph Rubin, who also directed The Stepfather, which I like, and Sleeping with the Enemy, which I also really like. You don't like it though. I think you guys talked about that on your podcast
It's not great.
right?
And his next movie,
The Good Son.
Yeah.
which
which isn't our
haven't
our
heard
newest
this one
episode
yet.
and
Did
is
you
also
guys-
not good.
which it is good, you guys. You should watch
It
A Good
is-
Son.
I mean, it is not good, but you should watch The Good Son if you want to see Macaulay Culkin smoke and say fuck and kill a dog with a homemade rail gun.
I forgot about that part, though. Anyways, Joyride. This guy directed Joyride in 1977 for all that stuff. Like I said, it stars Desi Arnaz Jr., it stars Robert Carradine, Melanie Griffith, who I adore, and Lockhart. And this is a super, like, Pacific Northwesty fucking movie. It's about these kids who are saving up to go move to Alaska so that they can be like salmon fishers basically and get a boat and just like make a bunch of money and like start fresh in Alaska. They're super like naive about it. They're very optimistic. They're like, we're just gonna go to fucking Alaska. We're gonna do all this. Robert Carradine and Melanie Griffith are dating, and Desi is like their best friend. So it's already this like trio of, you know, there's different feelings involved. There's like that whole thing. They go up to this town in Alaska, and everyone is like, we're locals, like, you know, we don't like your kind around here. They go to this bar and they like drink, they get in fights. They realize it's not as easy as they thought it would be to like get all this money and get a boat and like fish in Alaska. Melanie Griffith ends up working at this diner. The guys end up working on the pipeline. Shit is just tough and not fun. And so it's everyone trying to make it in this really like rough town, and it goes from just like a kind of a slice of life, like relationship, friendship drama to kind of almost a lovers on the run type thing, because they decide to get money by robbing certain places. So they decide to turn to crime in order to even get enough money to just get the fuck out of Alaska.
Son of a bitch! Into the safe.
Along the way, they meet Anne Lockhart.
I work for the pipeline payroll office.
With the pipeline, too.
The hell with the pipeline. I don't want to talk about the pipeline. How'd you like to come back to my place?
Huh?
And they kind of hold her hostage, and then it kind of just snowballs from there to where it even dips into like survivalist movie, thriller.
Wow, okay.
Basically, you're rooting for these guys the whole time though, because they're quite likable. So much flannel in this movie, so much flannel, so much shaggy hair, so much like Sherpa like line coat stuff. It was actually filmed in Washington.
Nice.
So it was filmed in Granite Falls and Roslyn, Washington, which I camped in Roslyn. I have a Roslyn shirt that has like a Sasquatch on it.
Well, Roslyn they filmed with, you know, where they shot Northern Exposure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very Pacific Northwesty vibes, lots of like fucking evergreens and shit. The soundtrack, Electric Light Orchestra, fucking great.
What? Sold.
Yeah, basically this movie was just a really good time. It had everything that I wanted in it. It had like friendship, it had like love drama, it had like really suspenseful thriller moments, it had like survivalist shit, and then it was just beautifully 70s Pacific Northwest vibes. So I really recommend it. Joyride, they're burning up the blacktop. There's some car chase shit in it. Yeah, there's like basically everything.
I'm gonna take this one.
I'm gonna take that one home. But yeah, look up Joyride. Also watch the Paul Walker one, but really, truly watch this one.
I'm gonna rock you and roll you. I'm gonna do everything that you want me to do. Oh, I got so much love that you can't measure.
So Kevin, what about your next movie?
My next movie, funny story, is a movie that I talked about on our very first episode, but I cut the segment just because, I don't know, I was cut crazy at that point. I didn't like it or something.
Like the first one of the ones we actually like.
The first one that's up. So like I talked about Mask and then Working Girl, and then I just cut the whole part about
Miracle at Santa.
Yeah. So I cut the whole part about Spike Lee's Miracle at St. Anna. It is Black History Month, and you know, I thought that was an appropriate time to bring back this one because I think this is a movie that talks a lot about basically about these this platoon of black soldiers in World War II, and it presents it, you know, not in a way that World War II movies are generally presented. They're not treated well, you know, and they're in a battle. They get separated from their main platoon, a bunch of these guys, and they end up in this village. They end up sort of in this village, this Italian village, where they're hooked up with these, you know, Italian, what do you call them?
Partisans?
Yeah, with the partisans.
Torrite, Rontano, Manzana. Su fino a Barca e giù fino al cerchio. Non so come avete fatto a passare per Gemoli. Comunque, l'unica via per Pietrasanta, dove dovrebbero esserci gli americani, su per di là. Per la montagna dell'uomo che dorme.
She says we're surrounded. Doesn't know how the hell we got past the German lines, but the only way we might find some Americans is up there, the mountain of the sleeping man.
Sleeping man.
It starts off with a bang with a guy.
Excuse me, sir. 20-cent stamp, please.
You find out later, you know, what the deal with that is. That's the whole mystery, blah blah blah. But it's a great movie. It's a great sprawling movie. It not only goes into the history of like black soldiers in World War II, but it also talks a lot about the partisans in Italy, which you don't see a lot of. At least I haven't seen a lot of movies about that. I know that they pop up in movies and stuff, but you know, you there's a lot more. It feels like there's a lot more movies about like the French resistance than there is about the Italian resistance, and it's a really interesting part of World War II they don't talk about. But you know, it goes into them, you know, these guys in training and everything, and kind of them back on the home front, how they were treated.
Doch! Wir kommen bestimmt bald nach Hause, dann wirst du auch gleich deine Freundin besuchen, oder?
Yep. What do you boys want?
No problem, sir. We just looking for some good old ice slaps.
Go around back. I'll get you some. Train.
They went round back too?
Negro, who I serve is my damn business.
Those are Hitler's goose steppers you feeding over there. You want me to eat out of a trough in the backyard like I'm some damn pig?
You want me to shoot you in the head?
And it's a Spike Lee movie, so it kind of doesn't pull any punches, but it's also wildly entertaining. I think that this was really overlooked at the time too. I think people went, it's another World War II movie. I think it might have come out around the time as those.
Where it was like oversaturated.
Yeah, I think it came out around the time of those two like Clint Eastwood ones, you know. But I think it's like one of the most overlooked of Spike Lee's catalog. Yeah, it's Spike Lee at his best. It's just wildly entertaining and full of history and angry at the right things, and it's a great double feature with his newest movie with Da 5 Bloods.
I still haven't seen that
one. And I don't, maybe not a double feature, but it's a great partner with those. I don't know if you'd want to watch both of those back to back.
But if you do,
but I mean, but you might if you want. You know, you might. I think, you know.
Yeah.
It might be a lot to do, but yeah, you should. But you should watch both of them. But Miracle at St. Anna, I don't know. It's a great movie. I'm not going to tell you what the Miracle at St. Anna is. Check it out.
So, you guys, I just found out that I'm a communist.
I step away for 5 seconds.
And I'm a communist. It's so crazy. So the movie that I'm talking about kind of has a little bit to do with that, but it's called Celia. AKA Celia, Child of Terror. And this movie came out in 1989, the year of my birth. Directed by Ann Turner, who I wrote down didn't do a whole lot. I think she did do some stuff, but just nothing that I was familiar with. But this is an Australian film. I've been really loving these Australian picks lately.
Wait, this isn't like fourth in a row. You did.
This is third.
No, because you skipped one.
Okay.
Last episode, I don't think you had an Australian pick.
I just rented before we started filming 2 Australian movies on accident. So I'm just all about these. Walkabout, which I knew was Australian, and then a movie called Two Hands. Who knows? I might just keep... If you have any Australian recs for me, email us. This movie, as you can see, it's Celia, Child of Terror. This movie I always kind of looked at and kind of dismissed as a like kind of an Exorcist ripoff type vibe. I think the marketing for it pushed it in the horror realm, or at least that's what I was under the impression of. But watching this, it's actually just like, you've seen this before. I think everyone. Okay, so I'm just talking to you, the viewers out there. Watching it was more of like a very dark coming of age movie about this little girl named Celia, has a really big imagination. A lot of the horror elements of this is just her kind of projecting, externalizing her own inner conflicts and her basically just growing up. And then, you know, you could see it as like a monster's hand or like a dark shadow or something. She has a big imagination. She lives in her head a lot. She meets her new neighbors, which is a family of kids that are also like super big into like imagination play and like going in the woods and like, you know, just being kids. And turns out their parents are part of the Communist Party. This takes place in the 50s. And her parents are like, don't hang out with them. So there's this kind of tension going on between her family and the family next door, even though Celia is finding a lot of like welcoming and like being really encouraged to express her individuality with that family. Starring this girl, Rebecca Smart, who is amazing in this movie. Like her emotions, she's just like, when she's angry, she's fucking angry. And when she's sad, she's sad. It's like everything she's doing is to the full 100% realistic little girl emotions. She really wants to get a bunny rabbit for her 9th birthday, but her grandma's the one who promised her that, and her grandmother just passed.
Friend.
Her dad finally caves and is like, you don't talk to those communist kids next door, I'll get you this rabbit.
That's the deal.
For the rest of the movie, she's like toting around this huge floppy rabbit, and every time it was on screen, I was like, aren't you like scared that rabbit's gonna like hop away, like run away? That's a huge part of the movie. There's like a rabbit plague.
Are overrun by the dreaded rabbit menace. Too bad for you boys. There's no way out this time.
Basically, there's so many rabbits that in Australia, and I don't know if this is a real thing.
I bet it is, yeah.
That like there were so many wild rabbits that they made it a law to be able to like hunt them and get rid of them, basically. And so all the pet rabbits had to be like confiscated and to the zoo. So that's a whole thing that's going on, and it kind of like parallels the whole like Red Scare communist thing. So she's dealing with this type of trauma on both ends, as well as her grandmother dying, who is another one of the only people who actually like encouraged her to be herself. This is kind of more of a slice of life. Her being a kid, her learning how to grow up facing these different issues, what's happening with her country as well as what's happening in her family life. It was a good mix of like her fantasy world coming out and being impressioned by what's going on around her. And I'm kind of sad. Like normally I would be like, oh cool, it's like a cool horror movie or whatever. I'm kind of sad that it was marketed like this and not as...
Well, it does get dark towards the end.
Yeah, but it's never a horror movie.
No,
really.
It's definitely not a horror.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it does get dark towards the end. There is an incident that I'm not going to spoil because it's a pretty big thing, but her and her friend like dress up and like put lipstick on their faces and everything, and I love that type of shit. I love when like just before something fucked happens, the woman like puts makeup on or like puts jewelry on and shit. It just like over feminizes themselves. It's fucking great. You like this one too, right?
Yeah, it's a solid movie.
Yeah.
Actually, Jensen, who's wandering around in the background right now, was the one who recommended it to me.
Yeah.
There he is.
Well, on the back here, it compares it to Truffaut's 400 Blows, which...
Yeah. I can see that.
I can see
the comparison.
Yeah, check it out. Celia, Child of Terror. After the road trip to Alaska to like really just try and make it in the world, you're gonna want a delicious cocktail.
The first stop you're gonna make is at a bar probably, and hopefully the bartender there can make you some kind of a drink that will satisfy you.
And I hope it's this one.
Okay, pick out your tongue. Hey y'all, Tony from the Victory Lounge here. I just come up with a brand new cocktail to pair with the film Joyride, starring Lewis from Revenge of the Nerds and that dope-ass bounty hunter from Cherry 2000, so let's get into it and see how it's made.
Base spirit is Rainier Gin. Can't get through Canada without a little ginger ale on your road trip. Some Goldschlager. Why else would they be up there in the first place? And our main sponsor of the film, Rainier Beer. Get a tall rocks glass. Fill it with some ice. Next, we're going to do about 1 ounce of Rainier Gin. And then if I can get the lid off the bottle of Goldschlager, we're going to do 1 ounce of Goldschlager as well. Yep, there it is. Goldie. Bust out your shaker tin and shake to combine. Get your short rocks glass ready. And strain the mixture in. Should get you about 2/3 of the way up the cup. We're gonna do just a little bit of Canada Dry ginger ale and top it the rest of the way off with a little bit of Rainier beer.
And that's how you make the Rainier Gold Rush. I'm Tony. See you at the Victory Lounge. Make it spicy. Oh, hooch.
What was our dog movie last week? Turner and Hooch.
Our dog movie last time was Turner and Hooch. Yeah.
Yeah, so we went from Turner and Hooch to a really great dog movie. Not to say Turner and Hooch is bad, but
Our movie this episode is like I think a truly great movie.
it's very great.
Yeah.
It's called Los Reyes. And did you hear about this before seeing it on our best of shelf?
I'd heard about it like a year ago or something, and I thought it sounded really cool. I'd seen the trailer. I honestly don't remember, but I think it was starting to play. It was going to be playing at like theaters around here or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just something that either I missed in theaters when it was playing, or was going to come out, you know,
last year or something.
last year when all the theaters shut down, and so I didn't see it. And
then our coworker Megan chose it as one of her best of 2020s.
Yeah, and I was like, oh right, this movie, I forgot I wanted to see this so bad. It's awesome.
This movie's great.
It's a documentary.
It's a documentary without like narrative.
It's an observational, non-narrative documentary.
Exactly. So it's about these two dogs who live at this skate park, the oldest skate park in Chile.
In Santiago, Chile.
Yeah. And these dogs are like...
Which is...
street dogs.
Los Reyes.
Yeah, Los Reyes.
Is the park.
And they just live there. They're like every day, they're just there, and the community kind of pitches in to take care of them. Which I don't think you really find out in the movie.
When you watch the movie, you don't find out a lot. The movie just sort of follows these dogs.
It's like slice of life, observational, following these two dogs. And these dogs have like personalities.
Yeah,
this is just real shit. This is just like authentic, like cameras on these dogs at all times. They're hanging out together. They're like panting in the hot sun. They're napping under shade. They are finding gross tennis balls and balancing them on the edge of the skate bowl, and then like nudging them in and then running
catching
around.
them. And the two dogs, which are never named in the movie until the end of the movie,
because no one talks, because it's not like
nobody
let's
talks
interview
to,
this
talks
dog, you
to
know?
or about the dogs, yeah. But the dogs are named Chola and Football, and if you can't see the cover here, but Football and Chola, and Football is kind of this fuzzy, almost, I don't know what kind of dog
like
he
a
is.
shepherd-esque?
And then Chola's more of like a lab.
These dogs have like seen some shit. Like you could definitely tell Football's like older. He kind of has a horse bark and he limps a little bit. Chola's a little more energetic. They're tough fucking dogs.
Yeah.
They're also, you could tell they're like well fed. Someone's fucking feeding them. They're like, they're not like sad looking dogs, you know?
No, it's not like a documentary about sad, scrawny, dying street dogs.
Right.
You know, it's about these two dogs who live in this skate park, and
yeah, this is their life.
This is their life. There's even a part where some like workers bring some dog houses, and then when the rainy season starts, like they go in the houses, and they're like, oh, you know, we got out of the rain. So it's kind of
like an accepted thing that these dogs are at the skate park. Like the skateboarders don't really pay much attention to them. Okay, I think there was like one guy with a soccer ball that was kicking around for him, but it's like kind of just accepted that these dogs live at the skate park and like are just there to hang. Like that's just their vibe.
It's weird because this is like 100% in my bag kind of movie because it's like about dogs.
It's a dog hangout movie.
It's essentially a slice of life hangout movie about these two dogs. Like the only dialogue you hear is from the skateboarders off camera, and you see them in shadow or you see their feet. You see them skating every once in a while, and there's a skate tournament at one point. But you see the skate tournament even from behind the fences while the dogs are watching. Like the dogs are like
tournament, like they polished up the whole skate park and put a bunch of like logos and like signs and like bleachers and then like fenced it off. And so the dogs are like on the outside of the fence. This skate park is like their home, but they're like, okay, I guess we're on the outside of the fence, and their tennis ball's like on the other side, and they're like trying to get it. It's very interesting, like to see with this level of like commitment to just like observing these dogs, how much personality and like humanistic emotion that dogs have, how much friendship they have with each other.
That's the part that really it really hits you at the end. But yeah, you get this idea they're always hanging out together. And there's other dogs. There's a couple other times where there's some other dogs that come and go.
Or people who are walking their dogs or take their dogs to the park to play. Like they'll play with them, but then they leave because they're living a different life.
But Chola and Football are always hanging out together, and they're like best friends. At the end of the movie, there's a whole you don't see anything happen, but you see Chola just alone for a lot of movies.
But it makes it look like she's looking around.
She's looking around, and then there's a part where she's just howling at nothing.
And it's because Football passed away and couldn't be found.
And in the movie, they do a thing where it's almost like Football didn't die. Like the way they edit it is really, they show Chola alone, but then there's Football in like the background, and it's kind of like, but it's almost like the ghost of Football going like, "Hey, I'm still here," or whatever.
Yeah, like it's okay.
It's very sweet, and that's the only the movie's non-narrative, but there is that narrative conceit of only following these dogs, and then that kind of where they kind of hide. It's sort of like a poetic cheat.
And throughout the whole thing, they do, which I don't love. They do close-ups on these bugs that are landing on these dogs all the time, which after a while I was like, my only complaint of this movie is I could do without the excessive close-ups of these flies and bugs and mosquitoes landing on these dogs and biting them.
Although it does point out like how these animals
That's true.
live on
I just feel like it could have been done
in
in a lesser percentage of how much they were doing that.
Yeah.
But at the end they do kind of like show a lot of flies kind of gathering around Football, which kind of is like, Football's not doing too hot.
No, and Football was an old dog.
He was an old boy.
They have a lot of great macro photography of like the dog's paws and like the dog's eyes and their nose and stuff. There's a 4-minute pitch reel on the DVD. They originally were going to make a movie about Los Reyes, about the skate park, about the skaters. About
these
teens who go
their
skate
issues and that like class issues, family issues, relationship stuff, which is all still kind of there playing in the background.
Yeah.
But once they got there, in that interview later, that woman, one of the directors, was saying it didn't feel like my movie. She's like, it didn't feel personal to us, and they kind of just discovered that these 2 dogs were there, and they're
Yeah.
like, wait, this is it.
And also like that they were like, well, the skaters get older. You know, a lot of them weren't.
They didn't feel comfortable with.
They didn't feel comfortable
Yeah,
on
I read
camera.
that too. Yeah.
You know, so the skaters were like, you know, it's more iffy. But then they organically, while being there, discovered these 2 dogs that lived there.
And then some of the skaters too were agreed to wear like cordless, like mics like this,
Yeah.
but like cordless mics, so that
Yeah.
they could be off camera, but still like. So it's a really interesting juxtaposition of all these like these young people's like issues and like trying to be tough or trying to be like sexy to girls or like complaining
Right.
about their parents, and then these dogs that we're watching which live such a simple and authentic like and yet super rich and emotional life, you know.
There's a really good interview with the directors on YouTube. If you watch this movie, you should check out that as well, because it actually gave me a lot of context of what what they were going for and what happened to the dogs. You know,
in the interview, they say like, well, they also mentioned that there's this woman who lived across the way from the skate park named Esmeralda, who's actually making sure they were fed.
Yeah.
Which is great, because that was one of the things that when I was watching, I was like, are these guys like, how are they being fed? I was like, well, worried about that, but
well, you see like this. You see one of the skaters like
throw a sandwich or
throwing
whatever.
sandwiches at him at one point. So you're
Yeah.
like, they get fed that way a little bit.
But I guess like while they were filming, they got a call like saying that football wasn't doing too hot or whatever. But the way they made it sound was that they were all there when football passed,
Yeah.
which is really sweet.
And then Chola was alone. I guess went missing for a few days, and they like were worried. And anyway, they went.
Yeah, it sounded like the director, the woman director, like didn't realize how attached she had gotten to Chola until Chola went missing, and she was like,
she was very upset. Went to the
screaming
park,
her name or whatever.
Screaming her name, and Chola jumped on her back, and then the directors adopted her.
I love that.
And
I'm
she
so
she also
happy.
said it was a rough transition because
These aren't dog actors.
These dogs are free. These dogs live in this park. Chola wouldn't cross the street, so Chola lived in this area of this park, and so taking that dog from the street is the right thing to do in a way, because it's like this dog will have a healthier life.
Yeah,
at the same time,
exposure and all this stuff,
Yeah.
especially getting older too.
At the same time, taking this dog from being free in this area where this dog just ran around chasing after donkeys when they run through, barking at donkeys,
Oh, they
barking
hated
at
horses
cyclists,
and donkeys.
barking at whatever, just running at them is a rough transition. So,
Yeah, a huge transition for sure.
So that was good to hear, because it was kind of like, well, what happened to the other dog? And they're like, oh, she's okay. She's still
Yeah,
she's
to know
still
that
okay.
dog isn't alone, like just alone at the skate park with her fucking tennis ball.
Just howling for her friend.
Sweetly howling, like while
Very
Silent Night plays in the background or whatever.
It was
Because of
Silent
the
Night.
Christmas lights.
It's like the only time where there's any kind of extant music.
Yeah, they
in
like
the
show
whole
all
thing.
these Christmas lights and Chola alone, like howling. There was no faking. There was no like projection. There was zero projection. And it's like, I know some people are like, oh yeah, we think like, I mean, I don't know these people personally, but we think like pets have personalities or whatever because we like project these human emotions on them or whatever. And this is just like straight observation of these dogs. And like, there's no denying that they have emotions and they have feelings, they have friendships, you know what I mean? Football always had something in his mouth. He's asleep with like a bottle of soda in his mouth.
I thought there would be more of a narrative, like more of the filmmakers
More of like a
putting
plot type
themselves
thing,
in it.
yeah.
And I was so happy when it started, and I was just like, oh, this is literally just gonna be us watching these dogs.
I mean, if you've ever like gone to a dog park or like even watched your own dogs, like I can do that shit forever, even with my cats. Like I can just watch them and you know, wonder like what made them make this decision, what, you know, why did they do this, they're just living their lives, and I could watch this forever, like and that's kind of what this was. So
I can't recommend it enough.
Mhm.
If you wherever you can find
track it down, rent it from us too.
If you're in town, rent it from us. If you're not in town, rent by mail. Los Reyes. I don't know. Was there anything else?
But I know last time I said if I cried during Los Reyes, we would be watching Beverly Hills Chihuahua. I didn't cry. I think the closest, I almost cried, but I almost cried during also the interview at the end. We're still gonna watch Beverly Hills Chihuahua. We're gonna do Beverly Hills Chihuahua, and it's gonna be a wild ride, I'm sure.
Jealous? We're tiny but mighty. We're number one. We're the real hot dogs. Yo, hold the bun.
What can make you move? Chihuahua. Can you feel the groove? Chihuahua. What can make you dance? Chihuahua. Oh, Chihuahua. Chihuahua.
Walt Disney Pictures presents Ay Chihuahua. Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
Chihuahua.
The exact opposite of this.
And like I know we hope in our hearts that it's gonna be a Hotel for Dogs situation. I don't think it's gonna be.
No, I don't think it's gonna be either. Next dog movie, Beverly.
This is 4 paws up though.
This is for me. Yeah. Well, is it 4 the best?
I think 4 because that's as many paws. I was going on a 2, but this changed the scale to 4.
Oh, that's true,
how
because
good
2
it
paws was like 2 thumbs.
But now it's like this is even more.
This
so
is absolutely 4 paws up.
Four
And
paws up.
if there's some weird dog out there with 5 paws,
we'll take it.
5 paws
5 paws up. All right.
Whew, all right, so
doesn't look like there's anything left in
bucket's
this old
empty.
bucket. The old bucket's empty.
The old bucket's empty, so, well.
That means we're done talking about movies for today.
That's it. Sorry, folks.
You can go back and just rewatch our old episodes.
That's true. We
though.
have 10 episodes besides this one. So if you haven't watched all of those,
cool.
I highly recommend watching
Do you have a
all of
favorite?
those. All of them are my favorites. I don't know. It's so hard for me to decide. I edit these, and so they all become like
one.
They just become so part of my fabric of my being for a short period that then when they end, I'm like, I am the Muppet Christmas Carol or whatever whatever movie we were talking about. And then
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
think about Hotel
and then
for
I have
Dogs
to move
every
on.
day.
Hotel for Dogs is really, it's weird which movies really have stuck with me.
Yeah.
Hotel for Dogs, honestly, like
I
really
still
stuck
can't
with me.
stop thinking about when you said you were gonna get a full back tattoo of Don Cheadle reading the guest book.
In my opinion, the greatest titular line reading of all time.
Mwah. It's fucking great. We got some stuff to plug. Obviously, us.
Yeah.
If you're watching this and like it, smash that subscribe button.
And hit that like button too. We like it when people like our stuff.
We like it when you share this around with your friends. Share it on Twitter or Facebook or even Instagram, and use the hashtag Viva Physical Media. Send us an email, viva@scarecrow.com.
Of course, the other Scarecrow stuff. Check out also on our YouTube page is a Art House to the Fart House with Kate and Jamie, and there should be 2 of those up now, and they're
I love that
that
title, Art House to the Fart House.
And they basically pick a topic, and then each of them, Kate and usually does the art, and then Jamie does the fart, and I'm the one editing them together.
It's
so
really funny.
so you know it's good. Check out Scarecrow Radio.
Yeah, we got Scarecrow
our
Radio.
Scarecrow podcast hosted by Darcy and Ben.
Very cool stuff.
Wherever you find podcasts, and check out Soundtrack Cinema hosted by our own Mark Steiner. Every Thursday, if you're in Seattle, every Thursday it's Space 101.1. If you can get that on your radio. But if you can't, check it out on Mixcloud.
Follow Scarecrow on Twitter and Instagram. Do we ever include our letterbox links for us, both of our letterbox?
I could.
Let's do that.
All right. Click all the links below. There's a bunch of them. It's all about how you can donate to Scarecrow, how you can buy stuff from Scarecrow, how you can get join in our rent by mail, how you can
be part of the solution for keeping physical media around.
How you can find my Emily's letterboxed reviews from 10 years ago that I don't remember writing. So
yeah, do it. You can hit the like button on my most liked review on Letterboxd, which is from Netflix's A Christmas Prince.
It's a community.
Send us some stickers for this.
Send us some stickers
bucket
for the sticker bucket shelf. And we've got this, and you may think well, it's full.
Oh no.
It's not even close to full. We got to fill up the whole thing.
Some other sides, baby.
There's plenty of sides to this thing. There's more sides than just this to the bucket shelf.
Yeah, and take that with you in your everyday life. And we'll catch you next time for episode 12.
All right. So
Viva Physical Media.
Viva Physical Media. Goodbye.
Bye.